Oh, yes. Thank you very much. Oh, hold on. That's on a loop. Okay, there you go. Sorry, I forgot that I had latched the loop button there. Very good, but probably not twice because it's the Good Morning Portugal Wine Club. Not the Good Morning Portugal Folk Club, where that would be really well placed, I think. Thanks to John Heimbach for capturing that for us in Ponte Lima just recently. Unfortunately, I can't give you the name of the band, the outfit that performed that, because I don't know it. If you do, and if it's your music and you're listening, I'll be so glad to credit you with that. But it was given to me as a video, lifted the soundtrack off it, and I don't know who the band is. We are trying to find out. So thank you to that band for that rousing start. Talking of rousing starts, let's bring the Austins on to the screen. Rousing start. Good evening.
Geezers.
Ducking and diving in our Viagra this evening. How are you?
Very well.
Okay.
Very lovely.
It's very lovely. Very lovely.
Yes. And the Periquita is close at hand and ready to drink.
Yes, we have poured. We
Fully
are
loaded.
fully prepared and
Yes,
ready to go.
very good. And I think we should drink sooner rather than later, and then maybe talk a little about the wine after, because sometimes I do go on a bit and leave it too long. And I can see people are gagging for a glass of wine.
Can't go a bit.
Okay, enough said. Thank you for being here. The Austins of Isle Viagra, Linda, Garvo, and Terence on the screen from left to right, obviously. Let's go to Miguelito and Kat now. Nice big round of applause. Miguelito and Kat. And what you could do if you want to get a proper look at Michael's t-shirt, you can also have an explanation of it a little bit later on. Sat on your it's not ich bin eine Merlot in a wine style reference. This is something else which we might get round to a little bit later on. Sat on your terrace in central Portugal, I take it.
Correct. We are, yes.
Beautiful evening.
One of
Isn't
our
it, Jeff?
Yeah.
One of your terraces. How about that? Very good. And how are you both?
We're great, actually. Getting so we've finally gotten over all of our jet lag and hauling 250 pounds of luggage over and stuff like that. So
right
now busy painting every room in the house.
Wow, bet you're glad you came back. Fantastic. Okay, and 2 layers. Kat, tonight, is it a bit chilly this evening in central Portugal? I thought it was really hot over there.
I don't want to have to interrupt to go and grab a jacket, so.
Okay, all right. So you're prepared for the colder weather, or the colder temperature a little later on this evening. Very good planning. Excellent. Very good. Okay, well, thank you for being here. And we are, of course, looking at the Periquita this evening. And last but not least, to try it with us this evening from the Algarve, Johnny Cocktail. Good evening, sir. How are you?
I am terrific. Living the dream.
Living the dream. That's what we like to hear on the Good Morning Portugal show. In what way? Could you give us some examples just recently of splendid times you've had in the Algarve?
Oh, well, it's just yet another sunny day. It's a beautiful beach. The wine is delicious. So that's all dream state.
Very good. Excellent to have you here. And thank you so much for the mixing up of a Munson, which was last time, wasn't it? The time is flying. We're already into August here in 2024. That seems like a very dim and distant memory. Thank you for being with us this evening. If you're seeing this for the first time, you can join us on the screen if you'd like it for a future episode. You might even like to recommend a wine. Now, I think the Austins are referring back to my earlier self-description of going on a bit. And not getting around to drinking wine soon enough. Let's unmute you, Austins. And I think we should just get drinking this. Has everybody got... actually, before we do, let me just waffle on a little bit more. Which version do you have of the Periquita? So let's start with the Austins. What have you got?
The one you've got, I think. Same.
Okay, so the basic red. The basic red, yeah? And have you ever had it before?
A long time ago, I think.
Right, okay. So it's a fresh tasting, effectively, tonight.
Well, almost, yeah.
And... from your beloved Setúbal region, you do like a full-bodied red from Setúbal, don't you? This is this is from
curvy, full-bodied, voluptuous red.
Sexy reds.
Sexy red tonight. Okay, so you've got the basic. Yeah. Okay. 2022 on my label. What year have you got on your label there?
Safe pair of hands.
Safe pair of hands. Okay. All right. Always the best combination with a voluptuous red. Right, Miguelito and Kat. Which version? The Reserva, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Drawer tonight.
Yeah, we just we had a bottle of the red label about 10 days ago, just when we got back. And actually, it tasted really well. The one we'd had before that just did not taste well. So
No.
we were a little bit leery about it. So when we knew that this was going to be the wine for today, we decided we'd have one last week. And it tasted pretty good.
Mhm.
I think maybe the one we'd had previously was not a good wine. I think it may have been
Not stored or something.
corked or
Yeah.
something.
Okay.
So I didn't want
Not
to.
a good example. So we're going with Reserva tonight.
Okay, just to be sure. So there was it could have been a quirk, a poor circumstance for that particular bottle, not necessarily a summary judgment of the whole brand and
No.
particular line there.
No, the
Okay.
first I'd ever of that was a gift from somebody. And who knows where they bought it, how it was stored. You know, it could be anything. So
Yeah. Okay, well, that's very forgiving of you. Excellent. Johnny Cocktail, which version do you have? Oh, same again, right?
The Reserva, yes.
Yes. Okay. And have you tried the basic version of this before? Have you come across Periquita?
I had not come across it before. I do have a bottle, but we were having dinner, and so we went Reserva with the dinner.
Okay, very good. All right. So looking forward to coming back to you, Johnny, to find out what you thought of it with your dinner. Let's see how it's going down with the cold meat and cheese selection in central Portugal in Alvazra. The Austins, go on then, have a sip and tell us what you think.
Nose first, always smell it first.
All right, very good. There's a trick question.
It's like furniture polish. What about this?
In a good way?
Yeah, probably, because it's quite a common sort of.
There's
Be-
oak there.
Yeah.
Beeswax or ethanol? Which?
We've agreed straight off that there's oak there.
Polished oak, that's right.
There's oak there.
Yeah, it's proper oak.
Grand touch of oak.
Oak,
that's-
and then it's gone straight in. She's not messing around.
Yeah.
So none of that rubbish.
No, but we need to
yeah.
figure out, don't we? A few tannins kicking about. And some fruit.
Lots of fruit.
Yeah,
proper fruity.
berry type fruits. And I always get a touch of raisins as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You leave my
Mainly in the
leave my
in
raisins
the
out.
groin.
I thought you said ravens. Which I think
Raisins.
is illegal to eat ravens.
Yeah, we got stuck. We have them sitting on the old shoulder.
Yeah,
Yeah, but you said raisins, didn't
In
you?
my
Dried grapes. They're okay. So initial impressions then, favourable by the sound of it.
Yeah.
Not blown away though.
Just give me time because it's still developing.
Well, that's why I think we should drink straight away on these evenings and then
Yeah.
have a conversation about the wine and say more as the evening unfolds. So let's go to Michael and Kat then with the Reserva. What do you think?
Well, this is 2022.
No,
Mhm.
2020.
2020. And it had 8 months on oak, which for a Reserva seems ridiculously short
Yeah.
for me. So anyway, it was on French oak for 8 months, they say. But it must have been bottled yesterday. Look at this cork.
Right. Bit
I
too
mean-
clean for your liking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this really,
Unbelievable.
and the nose tells me this should probably be just put downstairs and left for a couple of
Laid
years.
down, not put down. Put down is.
Put down, yeah.
Out of its misery. Right.
That's that cork.
No, it,
Yeah. Yes. Same here. I mean, on the regular, I've got some colour, but it looks like you've got a very clean cork with Michael and Kat there.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's spotless. I mean, it looks like it just went in the bottle.
Yeah.
Months ago, if that.
Now that is possible, isn't it? Given that it might have been stored in a cask of another big vessel of some sort, and then bottled more recently.
Yeah.
Of course, when you get these, you never know when it was bottled. It doesn't. I can't read the
Wow.
code to tell when it was bottled. There's a code on it. But
Right. Okay.
It's been standing up the whole time.
actually,
Yes.
the nose
Yes.
is pointing.
The nose is, but the it's pretty good
The
in the
nose
taste.
has a bit of an
Fairly high in sweet content. Then.
chemically smell, a bit of ethanol type of smell.
So furniture polish in not such a good way there.
I get no fruit from the nose at all.
No.
Wow. Okay. So I'm not
And-
getting the best of receptions there this evening.
Yeah, it's not that we just opened it. It's been open for 45 minutes. So
Okay. We'll come back to you. Same wine, different household. Johnny Cocktail. What do you make of it?
Not the same wine, evidently, because it is it is a Reserva. It's the same
Yeah.
on the label, but my label also tells me it's a 2022, which
Ah.
again, 8 months on oak, but a 2022 and classified as a Reserva. So they, their nomenclature is a little different than to what I was typically accustomed.
Yeah.
But definitely the oak came through. My first impression was there was a little bit of tannin. I had it first without any food. That's how we generally prepare meals, have a bottle of wine during the preparation or open the wine during the preparation. So it definitely benefited by the accompaniment of food. It's a little lighter in color when, looking through down to the top of the glass, but overall, yeah, it's a very good, easy drinking, typical Portuguese wine. And for the blend, I appreciate.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were
So,
you going to add something, Nick?
hey Johnny, how much was that bottle?
do you remember?
It was between €9 and €9.90.
Yeah. Same
Yeah,
price.
yeah.
Same price.
Yeah.
I was going to mention that because you could, I mean, it sounds like, and we've tasted wines before that are as good, but not that expensive.
Yeah. Oh no. I frankly, it's disappointing to me. The regular Periquita has more fruit than this.
Mhm.
The
Yeah.
regular, the white. I mean, there's no fruit on the nose in our bottle at all.
No,
It's a dud to me. This one.
Okay, all right. A harsh reception for the Periquita tonight, and we are in the territory of a huge brand, mass production, and a lot of marketing, which is always. I think wines can suffer in that environment, as we've discovered before, but not always. Not always, as I think Gary might defend Melinda on that basis, and I'll come back to find out how it compares with another Stubal, your favorite, Gary, in a moment. But I want to find out, if we can, from our wine boffins here tonight, about what classifies as a reserva. Is it the same all over the world, or is there a particular way of seeing a reserva here in Portugal?
I think, if my memory serves me right, a reserve is chosen from the best selection of grapes from a particular year. That they have an area where the grapes are grown, which is considered to be a better area, and they use those grapes to make the reserve. The rest of it is just potluck, really.
Okay, so it's a reserve in the sense that certain grapes are seen as good, reserved, put to one side, blended together to produce something that's greater than the sum of its parts, hopefully.
Yes, it should
Right.
be. It should be a little bit better than what your standard version is, but that's not always the case, I've found.
But we seem to be discovering that this evening, for that matter.
Typically, too, a reserva would be on oak for at least 6 months longer than the regular wine, assuming their wines went on oak. I mean, if this was a Rioja, a reserva would have a minimum 18 months on oak, more likely 24 months. But they tend to drink their wines older anyway.
Right. And the classification in Spain is very regimented with Crianza and Joven and Reserva and Gran Reservas.
Yeah.
Okay. And Gran Reserva would mean what then? How is it taken to another level? Older or more
time in the barrel. Yeah.
It definitely tastes good with food, doesn't it?
Well, yeah.
It would be
Improves it, I reckon.
It would be without doubt.
Sorry, say that again, Michael. Didn't catch the end of that.
Yeah, it would have been the best part of the crop from the year, the Gran
Reserva. Yeah.
And then they have another level after that, which is basically the owner's reserve, and he keeps that for his pals.
Vintner's Reserve.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay. And so that, I mean, it's not a guarantee, then, is it? It's a judgment call, which may or may not be better, as it turns out in the end. It doesn't. I mean, you could be forgiven for thinking as a newbie to wine. Reserva means just old. It doesn't mean that, does it?
Not necessarily.
Well, Gran Reservas, by law, by their wine standard, they have to be 5 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the hybrid then of the selection of the wine makers and some age as well. It has to be both things, not just age.
Yeah.
Okay. Very good. All right. I wanted to ask you, Gary. Then you like the region. This is made by a big maker, and the reason this came onto my radar is because I met one of the young winemakers in the team. I think he's about 30, and he's joined this ancient family of winemakers, José Maria da Fonseca in Setúbal, and they are based in Azeitão, which is the most delightful little town where you buy the cheese, where they lop the top off and you eat the soft cheese, and there's great wines there. And these guys, José Maria da Fonseca, are not the only winemakers in the village, as it turns out over there. This is an amazing area, amazing district, Setúbal, which Ermelinda comes from, which is a big favourite of yours, Gary. Is there anything to compare with these two brands, the Fonseca and the Ermelinda?
I haven't had the Ermelinda yet, but I've got a bottle over there to try in a minute.
To compare?
Yeah, to compare.
Oh,
exactly the same price, almost side by side on the shelf. So we'll have a look at that one in a minute. But as far as this one's concerned, I think this is a good eating wine. This is a good steak wine because it's not going to fight with the meal. Yeah. It's not going to be too outrageous. And it will probably complement what you're eating, as we've discovered here with the cheese and the cold meat.
It seems to taste better with a bit of food, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
It seems to bring out the flavour of
that thing with the ethanol, right?
Yeah.
You can still get it boiling enough. You can still smell it. The alcohol's still coming out in it.
Yeah.
Now, this might be one of those wines that has to sit for quite a while just to get a more of a latitude on the taste.
Mellow finish.
I'm getting a bit more from it now, a bit more oak and a little bit of vanilla.
Okay. All right. So yeah, a mistake to open and drink straight away. Definitely needs to breathe. Definitely needs some food to go with it, and good company. It's complex in that sense, not just a straight open, uncork it and drink it.
I don't think so. It's not designed that way. 5 or 10 minutes. Maybe if you put it in a carafe or something, or an open vessel, it would be.
Yes. Yeah. The Whitbees, did you bring any wine paraphernalia back in that? What was it? 240 kilograms of luggage. I'm guessing there are a few wine accoutrements in there.
Actually, we didn't bring a lot. I brought my favorite corkscrew home back with
which
us.
He has not found yet.
Now I can't find it.
Yeah. Right. Why is it your favorite?
Oh, it's a work of art. It's rosewood handles and it's
brass fittings.
It's really a spectacular. They're French made, and they're
really nice, but also they work.
The best sommeliers.
That helps.
Yeah, it really works if you can find it.
Yes. Yeah.
It's got the corkscrew is it has a coating on it that just slides into the cork. You don't work it at all. So it's got a perfect corkscrew, and then a double acting leg on it. So as you pull the leg into it for the first phase, and then take it up for the next phase. So you're not standing fronting with it.
Yes, which is an awful picture from behind, isn't it? Yeah, and it's the sort of thing. The sort of thing a French waiter might like to have on their person, or a sommelier.
Especially when it makes that popping sound. Yes.
Yeah.
What goes on a corkscrew to make it go in easier? I mean, no smuttiness here, please.
It's the spiral on the cork.
It's physics.
On the corkscrew.
Physics.
It's got a perfect spiral, and it's a very sharp tip to it. So I mean, you just place it on the cork and start turning, and it's burying itself. It's an amazing corkscrew, and as soon as I find it, I'll show it in another
little video. Would be great. Excellent.
One of the things I was going to suggest we do one time is bring your favorite corkscrew and let's have a look at what they are and what they do, because there's such an amazing abundance of corkscrews. I don't know. Has anybody been to the museum in
Anadia?
No, where they make Mateus.
Mateus.
No,
the place they make Mateus, there is a corkscrew. There's a wine museum there, and they've got a corkscrew exhibit, and it's a room about.
Oh, it's huge.
About 60 square meters of walls full of corkscrews, and it's absolutely unbelievable to see it. There's some classic old ones. There's some sort of erotic corkscrews. There's everything on the wall there. It's really interesting.
It's a good go-to, I think, for any wine museum, isn't it? To make sure you've got a few fancy corkscrews to show off as well.
Oh, it's all kind of in there, and of course we've had this discussion on Matthias before, and it's not your grandmother's wine anymore, although it might be to some people, but it sure is a different wine from the we used to 40 years ago go skiing with a bottle of it in our backpacks.
Absolutely. I think it's called swimming pool wine. It's not looked down upon. It just has its right place here in Portugal.
Hey,
well, any more Oh, sorry. Go on, Michael.
It was the Queen's favorite wine too. So
yes, and Saddam Hussein, and famously pictured with
Jimi Hendrix.
Jimi Hendrix. Thank you very much. Yes. Definitely. So, any more observations as this is opening up for us this evening, the Periquita? Come back to me on that. I just want to give you a little bit of the history. The history of Periquita is interwoven with the story of José Maria da Fonseca itself, beginning in the 1820s. So, proper pedigree here. When the founding father of the company, José Maria da Fonseca, arrived in Lisbon and bought several local properties. What an exciting time that must have been. One such purchase, most probably in 1846, was the Cova de Periquita. It was on that property that José Maria planted red grapes of the Castelão variety, which he brought most probably from Extremadura. Although we are not sure when the first vintage was produced, we are certain that by 1850, Periquita was already being made. So that's why it's such an important wine in Portuguese wine culture. It's really an old brand and possibly the oldest known bottle of wine in continuous production. For this reason, Periquita brand is the oldest commercialized Portuguese table wine, they say, having over time acquired a growing popularity in Portugal and considerable reputation in markets such as Sweden, Brazil, United States of America, Canada, Denmark, and Norway. Now, the young winemaker I spoke to, who was telling me about it as I sat with him in the Storytellers, he's very young, and he said his greatest challenge with making wine is making wine for, I think he said, like the millennial generation who don't have anything. There was a connection between minimalism and the sort of wines he was required to make, which is young people don't store stuff. They want to buy a good wine that they can drink on the day of purchase or soon after. So I thought that had never occurred to me that might be the case. But his challenge was to make wines that were good to drink straight away, and none of this laying stuff down, keeping it, or buying it for your grandkids or whatever. What do you make of that, Johnny? You're nodding along there.
Well, I just, what you're saying makes sense to that generation. I mean, I just don't know if he also was challenged with producing a wine that didn't require a bottle opener.
Yeah. Bottle opener.
Yeah. Well, maybe like a virtual wine for that generation. So they don't even have
just
to
something
drink
with a pull tab. You know, you don't have to have a corkscrew.
You know, or one of those, what are they called? I don't know what the acronym is, but it doesn't actually exist. You just own the digital rights to it. That would be perfect for that generation, wouldn't it? Never mind about tasting it or getting drunk. You just own it, and you can be proud of that. And then you can trade it on some sort of digital market. I think Terence has been quite quiet this evening. But however, that is normally the sign of a storm brewing, and quite a download of information in my experience on the Wine Club. Are you ready for that download?
Yeah, fire your questions.
Oh, I thought you were ready with something that you wanted to share with us there as you.
Well, we just gone on to the Ermelinda, and there's a big taste shift. It's a little bit softer, sweeter. It's got different wine, varieties in it. Yes, thank you. And which has got Cabernet Sauvignon. Did you say it's got Touriga Nacional?
Yeah. And you can taste it.
Castell, yeah.
Curiously, the first one, did you say it's got Boucher in it as well?
Alicante Boucher.
Yeah, I mean that Alicante Boucher, according to all the tests that have been done on me, and they have been extensive on ECGs and everything, that Alicante Boucher is really the grape variety I should go for. And so it's got some real stormers there for me. Cabernet Sauvignon. Where's the Touriga Nacional?
In the Ermelinda.
It's in the Ermelinda as well. So I mean, it's got the the magic three, really, for me. I do enjoy the Ermelinda more than the Periquita, but I don't want to diss the Periquita because this, you can get hold of a bottle of this at the moment for like $3.26, something like that. $3.26. I mean,
Can't go wrong.
I mean, you can't go wrong with $3.26, can you? I mean, you can't even criticize it at $3.26 because you're used to kind of packet wines, you know, that you get in the kind of liter $3.26, not a bottle of wine. So I don't want to be too harsh on it, right? I don't want to be too crack the whip on it because it's a nice accompaniment to food. It works with all the cheeses and the red meats we've got here. It's pleasant, that's exactly what I expected it to be. You can't moan at it. I have no great expectations of it either. I don't, need to be knocked out by it because it just fits in that groove of pleasantness.
Yeah. And do you like the story as well? I mean, the fact that it's been around since 1850, I think does put it in that, the Hall of Fame, if you like, where Mathis Rosé sits. I'm not sure which others would go next alongside it, but this belongs in there, I think.
I don't want to be critical. You could go after this wine, Fox and Ham's treatment. That's obviously the Fox.
I was going to say that.
And
almost choked myself.
And you could go after it, but really as a pleasant sort of pass, 40 minutes of having a drink with some mates and a little bit of food, it's just pleasant. It just doesn't ruffle any feathers. It's you wouldn't notice it, but then again, you wouldn't really sort of say, "Oh, that's a bad wine."
No, you wouldn't throw it down the sink.
You wouldn't throw it down. It's not a sinker, is it?
No, it's not a drain cleaner.
So we say it's a floater.
Very good. Now, this is interesting because you're speaking of it as though like you don't speak ill of the dead or the old.
Yeah.
It's like it fits into that category. It'd be disrespectful, wouldn't it, to give it a bad review?
Well, sometimes on social media, we're all a bit guilty of chasing stuff, aren't we? Chase the headline and really, perhaps I'm just in a laissez-faire. Let's be kind. Let's not be controversial. In a kind of healing type way. And I do like. I've liked it for a long time because it's not, it's not the leading player. It's definitely not in the back chorus. It's just averagely acceptable, and I'm not going to criticise it for that.
There you go, the Gandhi of the Good Morning Portugal Wine Club.
What a Gandhi of Good Morning Portugal.
Bringing people together through wine. Very good. Kat, go on.
It's available everywhere. Every supermercado has this. And so some, at least at one of the Periquitas. Today, my supermercado had the Reserva plus the regular red label, and they had two different Periquita rosés. So I bought a bottle and had a glass for dinner. And it was actually okay.
That was really good.
Yeah, but
these are great reviews, aren't they? Actually okay.
Available everywhere.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, excellent. And talking of the wine, Michael Barton is with us. Good evening, everyone. And let us know, please, if you can, if you're not already asleep on the sofa in Casa Barton. There it is, the Branco Reserva 2022. So let us know how that's going down in your household, Michael. I'll come back to you in just a moment, Johnny, because I want to mention as well, talking about drinking with friends coming up in September, just a little bit of an advanced warning of the Castanera de Pera beer festival, moving from beer from wine to beer tonight. What a lovely gathering it was last time. This was how it was meant to be, a bit of punditry from me and Frank. Life and beer, very similar, chill for best results. So that was from last year, and we'll be there again, 28th of September, 2024. Looking forward to it, joined, obviously, as you may have seen some of the joyous pictures from the event by the Austin brothers. And Linda, you came over as well, didn't you, Linda? I think you were thankfully the chauffeur that evening because it was pretty messy, it has to be said. By the time we got to asking the barman what else he had behind the bar there for less than 50 cents. That was a sad moment. Go on, Terence.
Go on, boy.
Get in there.
Get in there. I just want to remind everybody that it's not all just about beer, because if you are with Frank for any length of time, and my son made me very aware of this, his wonderful sort of pickup lines and approach to women, which is a sincere lesson to all, heartfelt lesson to all mankind on how to observe a true master in the craft of seduction, and catching women up.
Well, it can't have been that good because I slept with him that night.
Well, I think you've kind of hit a little bit of chord of reality there,
right,
Mr. Munson, because to watch him operate is really like watching somebody go to sleep or have some kind of catatonic seizure in the presence of women. Because
there are some terrible reviews tonight, and that's one of them. Oh dear. Right,
it's very rarely I'm moved to no words, but I can show what his chat-up line was like, and obviously he'd had a fair taste of the fine beers that are on offer. But it really boiled down to going and a bit of dribbling, and honestly, I was moved.
Pride, and he dressed up beautifully as well, hadn't he? Now that was later on in the evening, and the organizer Pete Wilton Davies is there on the left. I think we're gonna have fun like that again this year. I think part of the problem is pride comes before a fall, and when you say to a younger man, "Watch and learn," you are setting yourself up, aren't you? Possibly there, and that may have been what happened.
Well, I think Ben's never really looked back from that watch and learn. It's more looking back than looking forward.
There is a nervous look on his face.
So perhaps we'll be treated to something that's actually even more entertaining this year. I don't know.
Excellent. Okay, well, join us to find out. 28th of September. We're going to be there. That's the plan. Go on, Garbo. What are we going to
have around that photograph, right? If you put it back up again, right?
Yeah.
And you look at it. Obviously, there's you and Terence on the front row who are totally related. Yes. And then you look to the right hand side, and there's Frank and Benny, who you would, if you didn't know, they're probably so related. And at the back, there's me and Peter, who are not dissimilar, I don't think.
It's true.
Which is really weird, isn't it? Because none of us, are interrelated in that way, except obviously you, Ben, and me. But
okay, is that another aspect of this though? So there's beer. There's
finding people you're related to that you've got no connection with at all. It's amazing what beer can do.
It makes friends all over the world.
And the thing is, you don't even like beer, do you? Really, you don't like real ale, but you had a great time there.
I don't really like the real ale scene. No, I've got to be honest. It all tastes of stinging nettles to me. But I did find one or two that were quite nice. And look, go there for the laugh and the crack, right? Yep. Just to watch Frank's techniques of working a room.
Well, apart from that, it was a delightful evening.
It was a great evening
of Portuguese life.
Yeah,
and if I could painted a painting, it would have been almost Renoir.
No, seriously, it's brought back a great memory. The whole sort of panavision of it, or the panorama, you could. It looked like a Renoir painting, a social event.
So true.
The way the light fell, and obviously before it got dark, the dappled sort of foliage pattern on everybody. It really did look French.
And obviously lots of super glue from that.
You're absolutely right. It was a beautiful Portuguese scene. Philomena was there as well. And it could have been a impressionist, pointillist picture, couldn't it? Instead of the bathers, it could have been the boozers, couldn't it? Although some of those real ales do make you see the world in a sort of pointillist way, don't they? After 3 pints.
Well, let's be honest. We go a lot to these festivals and stuff, and as the music and the people's entertainment, but we didn't really need it that night. It wasn't particularly overbearing. The people talking, chatting. Obviously, the entertainment was Frank for the evening, but it was just a beautiful, intimate picture of Portugal at its best for me.
Conviviality,
lovely barbecue, loads of choice. How many people were there? Oh, it's got to be 400, 500.
Catch coming, sorry.
But it still remained intimate and friendly.
All right, see you there.
It was a wonderful night and full of a lot of giggles. And I well remember one guy that had way too much.
Was that guy in red?
Guy in red that actually bulldozed me right out the way.
Yeah.
But he was bulldozing everybody out the way. Nothing bad about that. You just take it, right? And it's just a night that was full of a few memories, really. So
Well, when the rest of us held you back, when you were taking your shirt off and we were all screaming out, "Leave it! It ain't worth it." That seemed to stop any trouble.
I've missed that one. Leaving it ain't worth it. Yeah.
Women were screaming.
No. When he's out of condition.
that didn't actually happen, to be fair. So more fun to come. Sorry, Johnny, I cut you off there just to make that advert for Pete's Beer Festival there. You're going to join us. Not a
problem. Carl, it's your show. You do whatever you want.
Well, you're going to join us, I hope, this year.
I'm already looking at my travel arrangements. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And
so before we leave the beer theme, I just want to loop back to the Austins to set your expectations, because Frank's antics may be off the table.
Oh, they're definitely off the table.
I think he not under the table. I mean, off the table, because I think Frank has a lady these days, and so
could be. We'll keep them guessing. Keep them guessing.
Okay, so I'm going to say no more. Okay, so
now I'm going to loop. Johnny,
I'm going to loop back to the wine.
Then once them hormones get racing, there's no stopping him.
And it's just proof that it's a numbers game, isn't it?
All right, he's not here to defend himself. I feel like I need to step in.
I wanted to defend Frank in that.
Yes, yeah.
Also,
absolutely.
not to keep him out of trouble with Doris. So,
and also, if he's watching, we know that he's just going to be so tempted to join us if we keep pushing like this. But we'll see.
That's why I wanted to jump in also. Yeah, because maybe he will drop in, and then to loop back to wine and to put things in perspective. As Terrence was talking about the price of the bottle of the red label at $3.26. Well, again, to put it in perspective, that would be the tip on a typical glass of wine that I would get in the States.
Yeah.
So that's, it's hard for me to express any disappointment with the wines that I get here in Portugal, because they are so drinkable. They're so abundant in their breadth and their depth of varietals, and they're so affordable. So that's why it's part of the charmed life.
Yeah, absolutely. Even at high price continent, the Tesco of Portugal, $4.99 for a bottle. Can't be bad, can it?
It's on sale this week, by the way. So yeah.
Is it? And that's the moment to wait for, isn't it? Is to keep your eye on it. When that price drops, get a few of these to keep in the house for the reasons we've outlined earlier on. Now back to the Austins and your cold meats, your cheese, and the continuing opening up of these wines and the comparison from within the Setúbal district, the wine producing area. How are they comparing now, or is it too difficult to tell now?
No, it's clear cut, really.
Really.
Yes, it is. Because, for me, Setúbal wines are, they're very intense, flavorful things. As I said many, many times, spicy, sexy, lots of attitude in there. Periquita is a bit on the light side. It's okay, it's drinkable, it's mid-range. Maybe it's the sort of thing you'd have at lunchtime with your almoço or whatever. So you wouldn't completely render you completely sort of unconscious. But this, taste-wise, now it's warmed up. It's
a bit scarlet in your hands.
It's burnt up, yeah, but it's good.
That's a bit Dawn French.
It's been a long time since we've made such comparisons, but yes, we totally get it.
I'm sorry, Periquita, but if it's down to flavour, personally, Linda have blown you out of water, really. Yeah. But Periquita, that's an eating wine. That is a good steak wine.
Yeah.
Johnny agrees. Now, I think they missed a trick, because did we not have a one session where we were drinking labels with animals on, or an amusingly named wine to do with the animal kingdom? Yeah. This means parakeet. Yes. And they've neglected to do a great big parakeet graphic on the label. Why do you think they?
What a missed opportunity!
Yeah, don't you think?
I do like a nice picture of a parrot.
Yeah, or a cockatoo. I mean, I've heard you like a cockatoo.
Yeah, or a cockatoo.
You just like a cockatoo. Yes, that's the one, isn't it?
It had to be shoehorned in somewhere, and I wasn't making that comment about the label because of that. But it is a missed opportunity, isn't it? What Portuguese wine producer has a bottle of wine named after an animal or a bird and doesn't feature it on the label?
Well, I'd like to see sort of Long John Silver, a parrot on the old shoulder.
Yes.
Yeah. Arr!
Arr, yeah.
Arr, it's Periquita.
Now then, now
And
then,
even an advertising campaign.
Yes, I
with
can see it.
Pirate.
What's the strap line?
What is the strap line? Go
Yeah,
on.
I'm just throwing it out there. Periquita. Yeah, the strap line underneath.
just throwing in a diversion
Hey.
here, right? Just,
That's not much of a strap line, just thrown in a diversion. I
we
can't see that.
we haven't consulted the great oracle, the barometer of all wine. Yeah, as we know, the linderometer.
Yes, absolutely. How many glasses, Linda?
Only one for Periquita.
Oh,
I
that
was
tells you a
quite
lot.
underwhelmed by it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I was expecting more from it, but it was just, a red wine, nothing special. And
What
it
were your
didn't have a
expectations
sort
built on,
of
Linda?
a long taste, so I know one glass.
So were your expectations built on it because it was from Stibal or because it was an 1850 wine? What?
Well, yeah, I was probably thinking it would be better than it was,
Were
really.
you taken with the legend of it? Is that what it is? Because
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably.
Yep, it's gone dark in the Algarve, which I'm sure John will be back with us in just a minute. Michael Barton, who is drinking the white tonight. Thanks, Linda, by the way, for that. Actually, no, that was Coach Turner's Duro, and that's being enjoyed in Hertfordshire in the UK. There's Michael's white Branco Reserva. We're enjoying the white. We did buy a bottle of the red, and after the reviews, we're looking forward to trying it. I'm not sure if that's a tongue-in-cheek reference. Maybe follow the instructions as given. Invite mates round, eat bold foods rather than just drinking that out on the terrace of an evening. There. So, Linda, just the one glass. Are you sort of seeking refuge then in the comforting and reassuring Ermelinda instead?
It does have a better flavour.
Yeah.
It doesn't have much nose as far as I can tell.
Yeah, but you've had a nosebleed.
Yeah.
So that's
Did you have to say that?
No, I don't say it. And no, before anybody says I didn't touch it, right? It's nothing to do with me.
Yes, that's it. Thank you for clarifying the situation there. Well, Linda, a little bit disappointing for you. Kat, over to you.
Oh, well, I just, Michael Barton might have something going with drinking the white, because I just read that the white won the double gold in the Japan wine contest.
We have a bottle in here.
Okay.
Right. Okay.
In the Japan wine contest, that is the largest wine contest in awards in Japan. It's all adjudicated by women, and they just tried 4,300 wines from I don't know 30 plus countries, and the white won top prize with a double gold. And so you might have something there, Michael Barton.
That's very interesting. Yeah, going back to the family of Periquita wines, it will be the white there in the middle, and these are some of the awards. I'm not seeing the one you're talking about there, which is well, right. But I mean, isn't that interesting? Japanese, a women-only Japanese panel of wine tasters, which is fascinating in its own right. Also, winners of the Korean Wine and Spirit Awards, the 2017, 2010 one Wine Spectator. Well, didn't win it. It got 87 points, which I'm hoping is out of 100 and not 1,000. Wine Enthusiasts gave Periquita. They're not saying which one, but Wine Enthusiast gave him 86 points in 2012. 2009 vintage got a San Diego gold medal. Revista de Vinhos gave him 16 points, presumably out of 20 for the 2011. And 2008 vintage Decanter Wine Awards got a silver medal. So there is a bit of a trophy cabinet and there we go. Look, that's nice to see that breakdown. So no Touriga Nacional in this, interestingly, but Castelao, Trincadeira, and Alicante Boucher.
It's different for the Reserva.
It must be, mustn't it? Why? Which one does this refer to? I wonder. Maybe that's the bog standard, if I can refer to it in such a unflattering way. I'm thinking that's the basic, isn't it? Because they give it. That can't be the same for all of the wines.
It's not. No,
by any means, can it? That's the stats, vital statistics for the basic Periquita. I think there. No Touriga Nacional. which it would account for it being quite different then to a lot of other Portuguese wines, and that could be influential with the tasting against the Melinda this evening. One other thing, just to look at the market penetration of this producer, Fonseca, it's quite incredible, isn't it? How much of the world they're sending their wines to. Look at that. It's just extraordinary.
Yeah.
So well done. And they, you know, they've been doing it since the 19th century, of course. So I guess they got a really good head start in doing so, and all those countries there that they export to.
So the Greenland market is wide open.
Yes, and in the other master of geography can make similar jokes as well. Very good. So closing comments then. Let's have a bit of a lock-in afterwards. Go on, over to you, Garvo. If you could.
I want to readdress the balance a bit, because I feel a bit unfair towards Periquita and JMF wines in general, right? They do some lovely, lovely wines. And as my brother here has said, you know, at very, very reasonable prices. So if you can just give me full screen just for a couple of seconds, right?
Yes, I will. Do you know what, Garvo?
Yes.
I've only just realised JMF is this producer, isn't it? You see JMF.
José Maria Fonseca, right?
Yes.
They do a white and they do a rosé, yeah. Again, 329 João Perez, 329 a bottle thereabouts, yeah. The white is delightful. The red is very, very nice. And I think for the value, pound for pound, that's one of the best ones around on the market at the moment. Very drinkable, very nice, both the rosé and the white. So give them points back, because I'd drink that any day with anything, anywhere. So, you know, it's not all bad.
Don't you think that's a lovely picture there, bro?
It just looks so enormous by the side.
I'm just going to do a... Could you just smile for a moment?
This is a Christmas card. Someone screenshot that. Yeah.
I'm trying to do that. So after 3, I'm going to say Queijo, and I want your photo. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, Queijo.
Queijo.
Oh, I might have missed it, but anyway, let's.
Oh.
I've got the full screen snip.
He's torturing us, really.
Anyway, okay, back to the big picture, as it were. So we've had your assessment, Linda. We've had your I don't know, but a bit of a not a withdrawal or rebuttal, but just a little bit more forgiving in your closing remarks there, that we might have been a bit harsh. And we're often like that on the Good Morning Portugal Wine Club, aren't we? We do find it very difficult to be very critical of Portuguese wines, interestingly. Terence, do you want to add anything to that?
Nice point. You know, perhaps we don't tend to be critical of Portuguese wines, but on the other flip side of the coin, perhaps we're a bit spoiled. You know, perhaps we've got so many varieties and tastes and choice.
So many good wines.
So many good wines. And some duff ones. Let's be honest.
There are a couple.
Yeah, there are a couple. Not many, right? But really, totally happy. It's annoying, but I am totally happy with, you know, being here, being able to choose and compare these sorts of wines and look at Periquita and go, oh, it's not that. I knew you were going to do that sooner or later. I just knew it. When the corks were down there, they got your name written on them.
Oh, grasshopper.
You know, this is what he does in the local cafe, right? And I'm trying to cure him, right? Yeah. You know, this kind of like behaviour, which goes back to like being 8 or 9.
I can't help it. I'm sorry.
And
long may it continue.
Long may it continue. Right, but coming back to the wine of Portugal, right? I can't really give it a good caning, really. I've got too much respect for it.
Yeah, it's the hand that feeds us, isn't it? In a way, and we are so very lucky. We're so very lucky. Yeah. And we perhaps should leave it to the Portuguese.
It's so interesting, you know. Instead, you've got these massive, like chateaus and what have you, with the, you know, the Cabernet Sauvignon and all of that, and we've got all these great varieties and tastes and mixtures, and we're just very, very lucky, you know. Not really, we're just that lucky.
There's nothing like a big chateau, is there?
There's nothing like a big chateau, as my brother, you know. I think
it can come as such a relief, can't it?
And that's nothing like a big chateau.
I mean, it's load up your mind, isn't it, really?
Very good. Thank you, 8-year-old Austin brothers. In Central Michael and Kat, your concluding comments about the Periquita this evening.
Unfortunately, we gave up on the
Reserva. I would say the Reserva for us was not worth the leap up from the €3 to the €10.
Yeah,
interesting. Well, you won't be trying that again.
I think so, because that wine was not unbalanced. It didn't have a ton of flavor.
But having said that, Yes, it wasn't horrible,
There's
and
nothing
we've
wrong
had worse wine and paid more for it.
Yeah.
But having said that, there is such a wonderful selection in Portugal that we would choose something else next time.
Yeah.
Like Jägermeister that Michael has just poured himself there. What was that you just poured out?
This is
No, it was olive oil.
Vitigaira.
Oh,
I
it was
thought-
olive oil. I thought it was a liqueur. I thought you were pouring yourself a massive liqueur of some sort.
This.
Olive oil.
This is from Jason.
Jason.
Is
Yeah.
it? Oh, Quinta Essencial's very own olive oil. Fabulous.
Yeah.
It's absolutely, you can drink this straight out the bottle. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, wonderful. What a lovely mention there. Jason Hall over there at Quinta Essencial, and you can buy that. Did you buy that at the market?
Yes.
Yeah, we there on Saturday. He was there. So.
Superb. So you've gone to a Vidigueira, which is Alentejo, is it not?
It
Yes,
is
it
Alentejo, and this is, getting back to what the Austrians are saying, they, with 250 grape varieties, and there's probably 10 or 12 major ones that are used. What surprises me is you can have the same blend of grapes from the Algarve and the same from Alentejo and the same from Douro and Stubel, and they all taste totally different.
Mhm.
They're totally different. Now, it's the blend, because you can
Percentages.
split the blend however you want it, but their wines are so different, made from the same grape variety.
Yeah.
Just amazing to me.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
Don't like
why
it.
we're able, isn't it? Every
Great
month
point,
we're able
great
to find
point, it is.
something, a new angle on this. It's
If
wonderful.
you don't move on to the next one,
Yeah.
It's a big world of discovery for the wine here. It's just amazing.
Good. So I'm glad it sounds like you're still enjoying that. Every journey to the supermarket, it can be a delight, can't it? Even the supermarket. I mean, you don't have to go to a winery, do you, or a vineyard to have these experiences?
A garrafeira.
No,
Garrafeira, yes. Have you found your local then in Figueiras de Vinhos? Have you found a supplier over there?
there is one in the market.
Yes.
Fabulous. I'm guessing you've struck up a friendship with them.
Not yet, but
Not
we
yet.
will.
No.
Oh, a joy to come. Fabulous. And there'll be
I'm waiting for this year's wines.
But that does bring us to a point.
A point.
A suggestion for future wine club thing. We have in our local supermarkets, there are box wines and bottled wines that are just from really, really local, like in your own little village.
Backyard.
Yeah. And we started tasting those, and it's amazing. But it would be great to do one. Bring one from your backyard. Bring a wine from your backyard.
Very good. Excellent. Okay. Yep. Let's do that. That would expand very nicely into a blog as well, wouldn't it? I think, because we obviously have to taste and speak of our own wine from our respective places, and then we can make the information available so people could try that themselves and make the journey, make the pilgrimage to the place where it came from ultimately. Great idea, Kat. Thank you for that. Finally then, Johnny Cockatoo, I can't believe an hour has passed now. I thought we were going to have a swift tasting of 30 minutes, maybe have a lock-in and a bit of a chat. Turns out we've been on the screen for an hour. Thanks, Michael, for joining us. Thank you to Squire of the Shires as well. Bon night to you, and to hope everything's well for you in the UK, Squire, and evening all from Jackie. Enjoying a lush glass. I think that's how she would say it in a delightful Welsh accent of a uma cuppa tea. I guess sort of making a little bit of a Portuguese Welsh hybrid there. But great to be here with you all, having fun. Lovely to see you, Jackie. How's it all going for you? If we can help you over here, do let us know. Johnny, finally, over to you.
Kat, that was a great idea for someone who doesn't live in the Algarve. Not my favorite source of great Portuguese wine.
True.
But just to put this back in perspective, we're talking about, and we're all praising what we have available to us. And Carl, when you were reading those reviews, again, we're not certain to which varietal they were prescribed, but they were, in the high 80s, which is a very good, solid, drinkable wine. But it's a third of the price what I used to pay for something that might be in that same score on from those same sources of evaluators. So yeah, it's we're just all very lucky to be living here and drinking here.
Yeah, well said.
The wine that I had, the Reserva, I'm sorry to Miguelito and Kat that you didn't have the 22 because I'm pleased with it. But again, back to Kat's comments, I don't know necessarily that the price differential from what I had and what the Austins and Carl had, how do you quantify that? Yes. Is it 3 times better? I don't know. But I'm just happy to be here pulling Portuguese corks.
But you know what? The expectation does change, doesn't it? When you go beyond a fiver of euros, that is, and you when you're buying $9.99 wines in Portugal, the expectations change. They do for me, for sure. So that may well have something to do with it this evening. And take your points completely there, Johnny. I'm glad you enjoyed yours, and the points you made about the how Portuguese wines go up against other wines around the world. And they are a fraction of the price with the ones they're competing against. It's quite extraordinary. Thank you very much, Ninjas. Great job. Are we going to go with that theme? Something from your backyard? I mean, that's going to be difficult for Johnny. Are there any decent wines in the Algarve?
Oh, yeah, there are.
There are. No, I have been to wineries and had some great experiences there. Just not just the wine that I drank, but the whole setting. And so I still have a very nice bottle left from that trip. And so I can definitely bring something out. It's not going to be in a box. That might be a different show, just to have we'll all drink something out of a box.
Yes,
and,
but show and tell from your backyard, I think is a lovely idea.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, excellent idea.
But
Thank you.
Terence has something still.
Go on, Terence. What, a big mouthful of cheese, I think.
No, I was just going to add to that by thinking it's a lovely tagline, backyard wines. Yeah. It's like got a kind of low sort of base to deal from. But if you think about it, backyard wines, any wines, I mean, there's quite a few here.
No, let's be honest.
No,
some of the best wines in Portugal you're never going to taste because they're never going to go on sale.
Yeah.
You're never going to get to sample them. They're in somebody's cellar somewhere.
Wonderful reasoning, wonderful picture of the country. Somebody's got a cellar somewhere full of like 100 bottles of
liquid gold,
basically. Of liquid gold
without labels on them. Yeah.
So backyard wines. I think there's a whole blog there for somebody that wants to write it.
Who does that?
Hashtag backyard wines, then made for Instagram, made for TikTok, and maybe even the Portugal resident. The link is on the screen. If you want to join us in the lock-in, we'll go off air in just a moment. I was just having a quick look to make sure we were on air in the first place. That's what we were. And quick shout out for Sarah Taylor of Square of the Shires. Thank you all. A refreshing quencher on this lovely evening. Well, join us in the lock-in. The link's on the screen there. If you want to, Si. Be good to chat with you. And I just want to say, nobody said to me, Carl, you look different. And it's because I had a facelift today. And I would like to do a shout out for the most extraordinary experience I had today with Sarah Taylor, some of you do know this lady, Sarah Taylor. And I went to her amazing health and healing sanctuary just outside Caldas de Rainha in the hills, Silver Coast Hills, and had this incredible energetic treatment, which was on the face of it, a facelift and all kinds of. Sorry, it was not. Was that somebody wanting to say that's entirely unnecessary, Carl?
No, I said no. Ended. You said facelift.
What? Sorry, I missed you. You dropped out in the middle of that.
Carl,
he's not going to repeat it.
Facelift in our garage. We got all the block and tackle and everything.
What did you do with all the extra?
Yeah, all right. Okay. The suggestion there that it was an industrial.
Actually, I asked Sarah about this facelift business, right? And she said, "Look, I do treatments, not miracles."
Okay. Well, all I can say is, I was out of this world, and I'm still not sure if I'm entirely back.
Well, I tell you what.
I think you look younger.
You got a glow about him,
in a kind of tangoed sort of way.
It's sort of polished piece of fruit.
I tell you what, do you fancy a tango?
I said that before we launched that, Carl, you were sporting a 20-something-year-old face.
Thank you very much. So well done, Sarah. They said it couldn't be done.
Plus the lack of beard as well. The lack of beard
So,
does
It
make
does,
it look
it does help.
Carl, but when does she finish?
Oh dear, oh dear.
yeah, when did she put it all back?
Great, it'll be great when it's done. Right, okay. No, the funny thing, she said to me, you know, then I did the foot massage.
Look, be honest, Carl. When you came in, right? The funny thing she said to me is, just, "Get out!"
No, she said, "Whatever you do, don't wear red today, okay?"
Because red and orange should never be seen.
Sarah, if you're watching, don't take any notice. Look, she said it to me afterwards. She mentioned the foot massage, and I have no recollection of having a foot massage. I went into the deepest state, and when I came round, I didn't have a care in the world. It was some sort of spiritual seismic shift. So if you're
confused with your face,
he woke up on the beach nude and without his wallet.
Trousers around my ankles. All right, I can tell I'm not going to get any help here this evening. But
just wait till we go off air.
We'll have a
I want to be serious because I do like Sarah. I think she's an amazing.
No, it's amazing, and I shouldn't have mentioned it really among a bunch of drunkards, but it was incredible. It was absolutely incredible what she does, and I thoroughly recommend it. So we will. I'm gonna play this.
And then massage on my face.
But all right, thank you very much. Muito obrigado. Ciao, ciao.